Dmitry and Artur just had a heated press conference ahead of their big fight in October, but the real drama unfolded backstage, grabbing more headlines than the main event itself. You won't believe it, Jake Paul confronted Mike Tyson. In classic Jake fashion, he had to make the presser about himself. While Dmitry and Artur were focused on their upcoming showdown, Jake strolled backstage right past Iron Mike. The tension was palpable as Jake couldn't resist throwing some verbal jabs at Tyson. And we all know Mike doesn't take disrespect lightly, he's all about respect, and Jake was definitely testing those limits. But here's the twist: Jake wasn't his usual cocky self this time. No, he was sweating bullets. You know what that means when Jake starts to panic, the trash talk kicks into overdrive. And this time, the problem child didn't just throw out insults, he crossed all sorts of lines. Things escalated quickly, and before anyone knew it, it turned into a full-blown brawl, fists flying, chaos everywhere. It was total madness. Security had to rush in to break it up before it got even more out of hand. Jake might have bitten off more than he can chew this time. But that's what happens when you poke the bear, especially a bear like Mike Tyson.
You've had fighters from 147 to 168 to call you out, right? Some big names. Why Camille?
You've had fighters from 147 to 168 calling you out, and some big names at that. Dmitry and Artur were at the press conference, trying to hype up their upcoming fight. They were taking verbal shots at each other like you'd expect from two world-class fighters. But let's be honest, no one stirs the pot quite like Jake Paul. Love him or hate him, he has a knack for keeping all eyes on him when it comes to hyping a fight. Nobody does it better. The guy is a walking headline. Now, this backstage brawl? That was on a whole different level of chaos. Jake has a fight lined up with Mike Tyson on November 15, 2024, at the T Arena, and it felt like he was doing everything he could to ensure people don't forget about it. It seemed like his antics at the Dmitry versus Artur press conference were more about grabbing attention for his own pay-per-view than anything else, a last-ditch effort to boost hype by stealing the spotlight from two legends. So, here's how it all unfolded. While Dmitry and Artur were exchanging verbal jabs on stage, building tension for their bout, Jake was backstage, just waiting for the right moment to make it all about him. He walked past Iron Mike, and you could feel the atmosphere shift. Jake started running his mouth, trash-talking like only he can. We all know Tyson values respect, and when he's disrespected, he doesn't let it slide. Jake, feeling particularly bold, disrespected the legend right to his face. And once Jake starts talking trash, you know it's not going to end with just words. It wasn't long before Jake was throwing punches. Yes, you heard that right, he actually put his hands on Tyson. Tyson, of course, didn't hold back either. The man still has the power to put any fighter to sleep, and Jake was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Tyson's entourage and Jake's crew jumped in to prevent things from spiraling out of control, but it was too late. The backstage area erupted into an all-out brawl, fists flying from both sides. It was absolute chaos. Security rushed in, but even they struggled to separate the two. Jake was swinging wildly, trying to land shots on Tyson, while Tyson remained calm, defending himself like a pro. You could tell he wasn't trying to hurt Jake too badly, but he was definitely sending a message. Jake may have started this, but Tyson was going to finish it if no one stepped in. Let's break down the fight mechanics for a moment. Jake's style is aggressive and wild. He loves to come out swinging, hoping to overwhelm his opponents. That's exactly what he tried with Tyson, launching a flurry of hooks and wild punches. But Tyson? He's a defensive master with legendary head movement, slipping punches effortlessly and making Jake look reckless. Even at his age, Tyson still has the power to drop anyone. Jake's disrespect didn't stop with punches. He was hurling insults, trying to get under Tyson's skin. But all that did was escalate the situation. Tyson, a seasoned warrior in the ring, wasn't fazed by Jake's trash talk. He was biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When he did, the difference in experience was glaring. Jake was wild and undisciplined, throwing haymakers, while Tyson remained calm, precise, and ready to capitalize on Jake's mistakes. As the entourages got involved, chaos ensued. Jake's team tried to hold him back, but he pushed forward, swinging at anyone in his path. Tyson's crew worked to prevent things from escalating further, but once the chaos began, it was nearly impossible to stop. Shouts filled the air, Punches were thrown left and right, and security scrambled to restore some semblance of peace. This isn't the first time we've seen Jake Paul completely lose his cool. Let's be real, the guy has built a reputation as the problem child for a reason. He's already brawled with Floyd Mayweather and Nate Diaz, but remember that chaotic press conference with Mike Tyson on August 18th in New York City? That was something else. Jake has been stirring up chaos at pressers for a while now, but this one took it to a whole new level. In the world of combat sports, press conferences aren't just about promoting the fight, they're about building hype. Fighters use these events to get in each other's heads, plant seeds of doubt, but of course Jake Paul had to steal the spotlight just like always. He wasn't even the main event at that press conference, yet he made sure everyone was talking about him. Back to that August 18th press conference, Jake was out there trying to sell his fight with Mike Tyson, but you could tell he was sweating bullets. This wasn't just any opponent, he was trash-talking a living legend in the world of combat sports. Tyson's mere presence is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine, and Jake felt it. You could see the fear creeping in his usual cocky demeanor was shaking. He started blabbering out whatever came to mind without even thinking twice.
To go on your little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before, you needed a little break. Your tummy hurt?
You had to take your little break and postpone the fight. So what about that? I was ready to go before you needed your time off. You were nervous, no doubt about it. And we all know what happens when Jake gets nervous, he just starts talking, and not in a good way. He was stumbling over his words, making little sense, and it was clear to everyone watching that he was completely out of his depth. It was one of those cringe moments that makes you want to look away, but also keeps you glued to the screen because it's just so awkward. You could literally see Tyson's calm, intimidating presence making Jake tremble in his boots. The energy in the room was electric, but for Jake it felt suffocating.
This is what it's all about for me, man. I'm a kid from Ohio. Boo yourself, New York. New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago. New York.
This was Mike Tyson, one of the most respected figures in the fight world. You can trash talk a lot of people, but going after Tyson? That's a whole different ballgame. Jake was straight up disrespecting him, and you could feel the tension in the room. Instead of hyping the crowd up, he was turning them against him. People were booing, and it was clear that the problem child had crossed a line. This wasn't the first time Jake had disrespected a legend, but the way he was falling apart while trying to do it? Yeah, that was a bad look.
If I was walking on water, they would say it's because I couldn't swim. And this is to make history. You know, people think I'm going to get knocked out by this strong, powerful guy. All the people in my comments saying, look at his power, he's going to get KO'd. People are yelling at me in the event. But what happens when I put this man to sleep? This shit is not a joke.
If I were walking in, people would say it's because I couldn't swim, but I'm here to make history.